If you have a hard time with time, like you don't think you have enough time, look at how what you're telling yourself. First of all, um, if you are constantly saying, "I am busy," or "I have no time," or "I don't have time to do this," or "I don't have time to do that," or whatever the thing is, I have done this. Okay, um, you might actually be manifesting a day where you have no time. Not that you actually don't. There might be things that you're doing that could make your time seem like it's very tight, but it really isn't all that tight. So, for instance, I have a thing about breaks. So, like, especially if I'm doing like gardening work, because gardening work is pretty strenuous at 7,000 feet, and it's hot and it's uncomfortable, and I'm old. No. Things like that. It's like when you're working in the garden and you're trying to get things done, there's a lot of like factors coming in at you. Anyway, so you may do a task and then take a break and do something else, and then go back and do another task and take a break and do something else. Um, so at the end of the day, like if you were to keep track of the amount of time that you're actually doing versus the amount of time that you're actually sitting doing nothing, just taking a break, if you were to get, and I could not tell you. I mean, if you walked up and said, "Okay, how many breaks have you had?" I would say, I don't know, 4 or 5, and how long were they? Oh, hell, I don't know. And then there's times where like I will do other things on my break time. So like I'll go out in the yard and I'll do something, and I may do it for 20 minutes or a half an hour, and then I may take a break. And during that break, I may decide, oh, I have to make bread, or oh, I have to start something for dinner, or this needs to be defrosted. So I end up doing something during that quote unquote break time that's actually something else. I am a huge multitasker. Huge. I can get probably 5 or 6 different projects going all at one time. Um, and that makes for kind of a hectic day as well. So you kind of, but my thing is, I would rather start something new than sit idle and wait for whatever it is that I have to wait for to, to progress on this task. I would rather go here and start this task. That's my logic behind it. And sometimes it does work, and sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes I end up with 5 or 6 tasks that are all completely undone that I need to completely button up, which I do without a whole lot of effort. But I don't know how much time I actually save myself. Point is, if you were to get really honest with yourself and you sat down and you said, okay, every time I take a break, I'm going to write down the time that I started and the time that I end. And don't do it in the sense that you're trying to, take shorter breaks. Do it very nonchalantly, very logically, like it's a normal day. And at the end of the day, look at the amount of breaks that you took. And what were you doing? Were you reading, or were you watching YouTube videos, or were you talking to somebody, or was your break actually a break to start something else? That's my kind of breaks. Um, but if you write them down and you look at it at the end of the day, you can you can shave off a whole lot of time off your day of being busy or not having any time by really getting honest with yourself and looking at your activities, how you do your activities, how um, important those activities were. Maybe if you did them another way, you would have more time. You wouldn't be quite so burdened. And I have to tell you that, working with my guardian, working with my guides, I find that a lot of things that I do are unnecessary. Yeah. Uh, I think since I've been working on time management and project issues with my guides and my guardian, I've gotten more focused on what's important and what needs to get done and less focused on the things that don't need to get done or are less important. And I have found that over the course of 6 months' time, I can focus on like it, at the beginning it was kind of chaotic. My energy, their energy, trying to get that balance in there. But over the long term, I've been able to do more in less time and still have time to do nothing. And for years, literally for years, I would get messages, various places, that my guardians, my guides wanted to help me with, time management, project management type thing. Talk to them about your time management or your goals and see if they can't work things out. And I never was really clear on how to do that. And I never really pursued it. I thought, why would I want to do that? That's ridiculous. Well, I'm here to tell you it is not ridiculous. It was an absolutely vital part of my schedule, and I am very capable of getting large amounts of things done now that I could not have gotten done before, because I do actually listen to my guardian, my guides, on time management. And anything that's not important gets thrown out. Anything that is important that will get me to my goals stays. And I am grateful for their time and their attention, because time was always an issue for me. It was always an issue. But I think a lot of times I kind of made it an issue when it really wasn't that much of an issue. It's interesting. Start working with your guides on it. You'll see what I'm talking about. Blessings.